All throughout human history, there have been a handful of strange individuals seemingly possessing the ability to not only predict the future, but to potentially have caused a change to our world in ways unimaginable at the time. So today, here at Unexplained Mysteries, we will be going over 5 incredibly accurate future predictions from the past and what they meant at the time of their prediction. Nikola Tesla predicted the smartphone. The world is already well aware of the incredible revolutionary breakthroughs brought forth by the late Serbian-Croatian inventor Nikola Tesla. But it appears that even more have forgotten his strange ability to foretell future events as well as make accurate predictions that have barely begun to be understood in the modern day. In fact, during the peak of Nikola Tesla's popularity, the newspapers and journalists would refer to the inventor as the Wizard of Wardenclyffe, after he made incredible futuristic predictions such as the crashing of a train that would go on to save the life of Katherine Johnson and George Westinghouse, personal friends and investors. Although many might disregard these statements as nothing more than the source of rumours surrounding the eccentric man, one such quote and prediction is overwhelmingly accurate and backed by the release of a newspaper article to support the quote's authenticity before the prediction had come true. Many people might not be aware of the fact that Nikola Tesla often spoke about ideas relating to wireless internet back during the early 1900s, even working on his patents and technologies that helped to provide wireless electricity transmitted through the air, along with the invention and discovery of radio waves and the first rudimentary understanding of the electromagnetic spectrum. This was not his only futuristic prediction of modern technologies, however, as in one interview with the Serbian-Croatian inventor, a journalist wrote down a quote in which Nikola Tesla describes the modern-day smartphone and its capability. He claimed that when wireless is perfectly applied, the whole world will be converted into a huge brain, which, in fact, it is, all things being particles of a real and rhythmic whole. We shall be able to communicate with one another instantly, irrespective of distance. Not only this, but through television and telephony, we shall see and hear one another as perfectly as though we were face to face, despite intervening distances of thousands of miles. And the instruments through which we shall be able to do this will be amazingly simple compared with our present telephone. A man will be able to carry one in his vest pocket. This quote was recorded as far back as 1926. The Jules Verne prediction of the Apollo moon landing. Jules Verne is known all throughout the science fiction community as being not only one of the most inspiring writers of his era, but also an incredibly accurate predictor on future technologies and events that would soon occur. He predicted such inventions as the submarine, the jukebox, the holograph, and even the discovery of the elusive colossal squid. Interestingly enough, he also appears to be at the center of one of the biggest conspiracies of time travel, as his future predictions were so accurate, that many believed that perhaps he had visited the future and took inspiration from what he saw in that time. The center of the time travel conspiracy theory surrounding Jules Verne seems to focus on the strange similarities and surprisingly exact predictions surrounding the moon landing and the Apollo 11 mission. He predicted that the spaceship used to deliver the first manned crew would be in the form that was similar to the modern-day cigar, with a bulleted nose to help assist with the aerodynamic factor, claimed that the launch pad would be called the Columbiad compared to the launch pad used in the Apollo 11 mission, of which was called the Columbia. Predicted that there would be only 3 men in the manned crew, the exact shape and dimension of the smaller piece of the ship that would be used to land and take off from the moon, and even predicted the lack of gravity in space. Although that last prediction might not seem like much, since many believe the scientists had already predicted 0 Gs in space, that's actually not true. Not only was the concept of 0 Gs not even proposed at the time, but scientists even believed that it would be impossible to travel through space because they knew it was mostly a vacuum, and within a vacuum, it's impossible to push off of anything to accumulate distance. This means that not only did Jules Verne predict the moon landing with incredible precision and accuracy, but also was the first person in the world to propose the theory of zero gravity experienced by astronauts in manned space missions. The book that foretold the sinking of the Titanic. Although it has often been regarded as one of the most accurate and strangest coincidences in all of history, it appears that before thoughts of even construction of the Titanic were started, there had been a book written that completely predicted the events that would unfold on the RMS Titanic's maiden voyage. The book was written and published back in 1898, more than 14 years before the ship set off on its journey through to the North Atlantic. The book is titled as The Wreck of the Titan and tells a harrowing tale of the largest ocean liner ship that had ever been built, known as the Titan. In the story, the Titan sets off on its journey and strikes an iceberg in the North Atlantic Ocean, which causes it to quickly sink. Although that might be more than enough for people to see the coincidences, eerily enough, that does not appear to be the end of it. In the book, the Titan sank in April, similar to the month that the Titanic sank. Both ships held similar names, both were described as being the largest craft afloat and the greatest works of men. The book claimed that the Titan was over 800 feet long and displaced more than 45,000 tons, similar to the Titanic that was 882 feet long and displaced 46,000 tons. Both ships were described as unsinkable while also utilizing the strengths of a triple screw propeller. Both were described as having a shortage of lifeboats, as well as striking the iceberg at 25 knots on the starboard side, 400 nautical miles from Newfoundland, exactly the same. And last but not least, both ships were described as carrying 2,200 passengers, of which the majority suffered a terrible fate. The cause for these strange coincidences are completely unknown, and even the author himself has been surprised as to the strange nature of the book and the way it matched the sinking of the Titanic. Isaac Asimov predicted the modern era. Isaac Asimov, similar to Jules Verne, has been treated as one of the greatest modern-day science fiction writers with the incredible insights in the industry to match. Back in 1964, Isaac Asimov was asked to predict what the future would hold for 2014. Considering many scientists at the time were making outlandish predictions, such as that of flying cars and buildings more than 600 floors tall, Isaac Asimov's predictions of 2014 are seen as not only some of the most realistic, but as some of the most accurate predictions of the modern world. He predicted color-changing LED lighting in an invention of what he called electroluminescent lighting, of which will be used across all ceilings in office spaces and homes to create lights of all colors that can be changed to suit the need of a person. He talked at length about how robots will most likely not be available for personal use by 2014, but that the manufacturing industry will replace plenty of tedious jobs on the assembly line with robotic workers. He predicted the invention of coffee machines, toasters, freezers, and countertop microwaves, and even predicted that unmanned space missions will have landed on the Martian landscape by that time. Although many might believe some of these predictions to be nothing more than easy-to-have predicted technologies, Isaac Asimov even predicted the invention of the internet as well as its use it would play in the public school system, creating online classrooms for those of which were eager to learn. Rasputin predicted the Russian Revolution. Rasputin is regarded by historians as a revolutionary and world-renowned spiritual healer that actually employed useful medical techniques and advancements for his time. Others would come to know the man as a Russian mystic capable of all sorts of fascinating abilities. Possibly one of the most incredible and mysterious abilities that the Russian mystic had possessed was his ability to foretell futures so accurate that people believed him to be a prophet sent by God himself. Not only would the Russian mystic use his abilities to see the future to help the Tsar and Tsarina in his political advisement, but it was common for him to be able to foretell attempts on his life and survive many assassination attempts. This was not the only use his fortune-telling ability had, however, as he would write in detail in letters to the Tsar and Tsarina about the future, and that they will be cast out from their country and that the nobles would turn against them. The Russian mystic also outlined in vast detail the nature of the Bolshevik Revolution and even the exact cause of his death that would later prove to be true. Given his uncanny ability to predict future events in high detail and use this advantage to his own personal benefit, it was due to this very ability that many regarded the Russian mystic as the greatest master of the mystic arts to have ever walked the earth, as well as one of the most powerful psychic masters of all time. But what do you all think of these strangely accurate predictions that no one could have ever seen coming, but still led to these incredible futuristic insights? Be sure to leave your questions and answers in the comment section below and help us to grow this community while working to solve these unexplained mysteries. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos.